Hello everybody and welcome to TradeStation's Market Review. My name's Simon Clarke from Trade with Precision and I'll be discussing some of the key markets of interest for me right now. Now, if we take a look at the mini Dow future, we can see the mini Dow we've been looking at for the past few weeks actually for the market to move on up and to retest this sort of 18,000 level. We can see that the market's kissed the level on the nose or practically on the nose, and then it's sort of rolled over again. In fact, this is level is just shy of 18,000, 17,900 where the market reached. Now, the most significant thing here is that on the higher time frames is that the market's still bullish. It's still in a nice uptrend here on the weekly chart. In fact, the market's only just sort of pulled back into the 10-period moving average. It's just a normal, average, reasonable pullback. On here on the daily chart, though, the market has broken the previous low. So we did have a nice trend here where the market was testing market structure levels that we've tested and identified many times before. We had the low, a high, higher low, higher high, and now the market's now made a lower low. So things are a little bit indecisive on the trend confirmation. However, if we come down to the more intraday time frames, come down to the 4-hour chart, we can see that there's our market structure levels that we've identified before. And we can see that the market's, well, even though it's now in a nice strong downtrend, moving averages in the right order, it has broken the recent level here that we've identified of 17,550. So this level's now been sort of broken, but then the market's pulled above it. So I think we've got some interesting price points here in the market that can help us with our trading. Certainly at the moment I'm looking more for sort of bearish action because the market's in a downtrend here. The downtrend is of good quality here on the 4-hour time frame. So I'm looking for a pullback down to 17,550. If this level gets broken again and we take out the low here of 17,500, then I think we could easily be starting to look for a move down here towards 17,400 and 17,200 respectively. Likewise, if we get bullish action and the market comes back up towards 17,750, we've got that higher level that the market's tested many times before. So the one thing we do need to be aware of, though, when trading these index markets for longer periods of time is that we've got quite a bit of news due out later on this week, and this news could be market moving news. It could have an impact on the near-term direction of these markets. So for me, I'm more looking at intraday trading opportunities on these markets, looking for opportunities on some of these lower time frames where we've got some very nice trends forming on these markets, and looking to trade them on those time frame basis. The next one I want to take a look at is gold. Now, we've been looking at gold a few weeks ago, and gold has been extremely bullish. Although the trend structure on the higher time frames doesn't look particularly pretty, it has been rather technical. So we've got this level that we've identified a number of times. It's just around that sort of 1200 level. Markets tested that level. Then we had 1260. And of course we've got up here towards this 1.300. So we've had some extremely bullish price action for quite a few days now, and we're starting to get the first evidence here of a bit of a pullback on the intraday time frames. So the question is, where could the market pull back to? Certainly on the daily chart here, we could see the next sort of structure level we can see is around 1260. We'll see that on the 4-hour chart there's also some other levels as well. So taking a look at the 240 chart, the 4-hour chart, we can see our 1260 level marked in here where the market's tested many times before. We've also got some support here, a previous support here at 1270 through here, and also more tighter to price action around 1280, where we've also got the previous support and resistance through here. So at the moment we can see that the market started to flatten out, and whilst it sort of started to flatten out, we've also had some divergence here on the indicators. So again, just supporting maybe a bit of a pullback in the markets. What I'm looking for then is a bit of a pullback into these levels. Obviously if 1280 gets breached, then I'll be looking for a pullback into sort of 1270 and 1260 respectively. Again, looking for opportunities once the market bounces off these levels to get positioned long, and looking ultimately for moves up here towards that 1.300 level that we've identified on the higher time frames. So the last one I want to discuss today is the Japanese yen. Now this is the Japanese yen future. This market, as we can see on the higher time frames, doesn't look quite so clear on the daily chart, but it has been quite technical. So if we take a look at the daily chart first of all, we can see that the market's found resistance around this sort of 9,000 level. It's also found support around that level as well. It's a bit of a zone through here, but you can certainly see the support and resistance. But more recently the market's tested the level, failed to close underneath it, and now we've got very bullish action above it. So looking for higher prices here. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we get a bit of a pullback before the market makes a new high, but in actual fact I still think that we've got quite a bit of potential movement to the long side. If we come to the weekly chart, what I also like about this on the weekly chart is that we've got a very good quality trend formed here. Nice geometry in the market, nice clear series of higher highs and higher lows, and the next sort of market structure levels that we can see on the weekly being up here as quite a bit of distance away from where price is at the moment. So there's quite a number of opportunities on the intraday time frames before we get up to these sort of potential decision points. So I'm looking for opportunities down on these intraday time frames, back down towards the sort of 4-hour chart, for example, where we can see that the market's had the pullback in here to 9300 here. We've then got a low, we've got a high, higher low, higher high again. Markets moving averages starting to open up again, and the sort of indicators starting to turn around. So I'm looking for the market looking for the trend to form into a nice quality trend structure here, then looking for pullbacks into the averages using the trend flow trading strategy that we teach through the Trader's Edge education program. Okay, so let me just tell you about the webinar events that we've got running this week. If you come across to the TradeStation International website, come across to the webinars tab, you can find details of the live webinars that we're running. The next one that we have is day trading index futures. This is run at 7:30 p.m. New York time today. This event is looking at some of the internals, combining some of the market internals with some of the trading strategies that we use to trade index futures on an intraday basis. So a very interesting webinar. If you'd like to join this, all you need to do is navigate to this web page, click on subscribe, and you can fill in your details to join. There's also for clients, if you have an account with TradeStation, you can also join the Trader's Edge education program. You can see here on the clients tab we've got the Trader's Edge education program. You've got the events in here, so the next two is the 21st of June and the 28th of June. Through this program we teach you the trading techniques that we use to trade the market, so the full 2 trading strategies that we teach through that program. You're welcome to join these. Again, just contact TradeStation and they'll be able to send you the links to register for those sessions live. Okay, hope it helps and look forward to speaking to you next week. Bye for now.